Now, a shadow of terror looms over Nigeria, and darkness has descended upon the land, as one person put it. In less than a week, 3 brutal kidnappings have shaken this country. Innocent students ripped from classrooms, their futures stolen in the dead of night. It would not be an exaggeration to say that this country is reeling as yet another group of armed men stormed a Catholic school in Niger State, abducting scores of students and staff in a brazen attack, the 3rd mass kidnapping in just a week. As Nigeria grapples with this spate of violent attacks and abductions, citizens have been left shaken and the government under tremendous national and international pressure to act decisively after what amounts to a train wreck. That's our first topic for tonight, and for their assessments, I'm joined now by our guest commentators, and they are the public affairs analyst, Mazi Nnamdi Dixon Irebu, who is both a member of the People's Democratic Party and an obedient, the development expert and business and economic analyst, Dr. Taofiq Rahimi, who is a member of the ruling APC party. He's in our off-site studio. And with me in the studio here, the public affairs analyst Zachary Mohammed, who was a member of the House of Representatives in the 7th and 8th Assemblies. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for joining us. And let me start with you, Zachary Mohammed. This latest mass abduction in Niger State is the 3rd mass kidnap in a week, and it adds to a pattern of kidnapping attacks that have unfolded in Nigeria in recent years. Would it be fair to say that when you add to this the killing of the Brigadier General and other officers in Borno State earlier, this is a week in which the shadow of terror has loomed over this country?
Yeah, let me tell you, Charles, I think it's about five killings. In Kwara, there's an incident in the church in Eruku, Ekiti local government area of Kwara State, southern Kwara. Then if you come to the northern Kwara, some rice farmers were abducted and some were killed in the northern part of Kwara. Then of course in Niger, Papiri, specifically in Borgu Agwara local government. What I just want to say is that I think Mr. President should just abandon every other thing, declare a state of emergency and security, and face and tighten his belt. For me, I think that the political will to tackle security is quite missing. And when he gets back to work and sits down, rather than campaigning and receiving defectors, I believe that the country is bleeding and we must do something about it.
Indeed. And let me come to you, Dr. Taofiq Rahimi, in our off-site studio, because you are a member of the APC and a big supporter of the president. We heard earlier that President Tinubu has cancelled international engagements to focus on these worsening issues of domestic insecurity. The presumption is that he'll be overseeing security operations. Is that, at the very least, good optics, even if it doesn't yield much result in terms of rescuing those who've been abducted?
Okay, thank you very much, Charles. I think you have asked a very important question. Let me acknowledge that the week under review in terms of insecurity, increase in insecurity has been very troubling. It's not only troubling for our president, it's very troubling for every well-meaning Nigerian. And I think the life of every citizen of Nigeria is very, very important, because the two primary responsibility of our government, as enshrined in our constitution, is the welfare and security of the citizens. So I think it's a very good decision that our president, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu cancelled all his international engagement, because it's one that is very concerned, is one that is very passionate, is one that wants this problem to be tackled headlong. What I just want to add in supporting all the previous and current endeavor in terms of tackling this insecurity is that we still need to develop what I would call short, medium, and long long-term insecurity combatant. And then the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuru Ribadu, with the army chiefs and all the military, we still have to do more. I think we are doing something, but it is still not enough. Honestly, we really need to tackle this insecurity headlong. It shouldn't be kinetic solution alone. We should have a non-kinetic solution. And it shouldn't be at the federal government effort alone. I have always advocated that the state has big role to play, including local government, including the religious society, including all of us. We have to find roles for ourselves, because if Nigeria is not at peace, all the economic recovery gain will be wiped out in no time. And no country can survive in a state of insecurity.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Raimi. Let me come to you, Mazi Nnamdi Irebu. Many people would be forgiven for being skeptical about President Tinubu's reaction, because it's a bit unusual to see him taking this sort of public-facing front seat role in a security crisis in this country, especially when we've seen many such incidents not take precedence over international engagements in the past. Do you think it's taken sustained pressure, for instance, from the Trump administration for him to now to appear to be taking serious action?
Charles, it's a sad period for the nation, Nigeria. We thought we had overcome this. We thought we could come together to solve our problem as a people, but it's unfortunate that before now, what the APC government, led by the Tinubu administration, has been all about distraction, for 2027. And so governance suffered, right? So suddenly, this moment that the president is now awake, well, I can say to him from this end, good morning this night. Good morning, because, Mr. President, you're waking up quite, very late. Yeah, but all the same, the people of Nigeria, will want to unite and indeed look for solution to these issues that we're faced with. And this is a moment also call the attention of APC members and supporters, like my brother out there. Propaganda won't work. All of that infusement of, economic gains made. What economic gains did you have? Please, let's stop all of that and just realize that there's something wrong about governance in our country, and there's a need for us to tackle it. The president failed woefully because over and over again, we called out some of the steps being taken and said, you're the monarch-in-chief. Engage the system, engage the people to even believe in what policies you're bringing out. But every moment, every now and then, any opportunity they get is all propaganda and all that. But the pressure from the international community, particularly from Trump and all of that, I hope we will translate it. Not this attempt to, because when the issue of Christian genocide was presented out there and all that, and the government, rather than focus on indeed human beings have been slaughtered in our country, human lives seem to be worthless in our country, rather they started, there are no more, there's no Christian genocide, there are more Muslims, and please, let's just stop it and put the interests of the Nigerian people first. And I think, if I may, that it is a time for the president to also address the nation, because these lives matter. Address the nation. It's not enough to play to the gallery of, I'm cancelling my international engagements and all of that so I can stay back. Stay back to do what, Mr. President? We haven't seen you yet. We haven't heard from you yet. We haven't seen you express grief about the state of our country. And that calls for concern. Enough of the distraction of 2027. Let us face governance.
Right.
That's what we can tell the president at this time.
Okay, let me come back to you, Zachary Mohammed. The Nigerian government sent a delegation to Washington led by the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, though I understand the contact so far has been with low-level administration officials. I mean, are you encouraged that they're reaching out to the Americans?
Yeah, for me, I think it's a diplomatic misstep. For me, I believe that because of the issue on ground, I don't know what Mr. president is afraid of meeting Trump face to face and let them discuss whatever is there.
Well, I mean, he has to get an appointment.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't matter. This is G to G.
You don't just wander off to Washington.
No, I know. What I mean is
G to G.
Is Nigeria's president, who the populous black nation in the world, wants to see Mr. Trump. And I'm sure that in the interest of security, in the interest of humanity, that will happen. When you,
but we don't know, to be fair to them, we don't know if they've been making those moves.
Charles, you asked a question.
Yeah.
Listen to my answer.
Yeah.
We don't know. Okay, the delegation he sent, for us, it's a very silent treatment to say that, okay, let some low-level personnel, officials receive you. Nigeria is not a backbencher in the Committee of Nations. And we believe that it's a diplomatic mistake because we have human resources in this country who will guide us properly for whatever mediation we want to go into. We can't be reduced to a bunch of jesters. No. For me, I believe that it is a diplomatic mistake. We have all the resources in terms of human to be able to advise us properly. We have presidents in this country who are still living. We can use to mitigate the problem at hand rather than this junketing. It doesn't bring anything. And I tell you that, talking about genocide, I'm going back to tie back. Over 10,300 before these incidents happened. Since the administration came in, over 10,300 Nigerians were brought, according to international bodies that are in Maiduguri, that are in Nigeria, and in Abuja here. They put it together, over 10,000 in the last 2 years. That's too much. And I think that the flag and the map of Nigeria has been painted in blood. It must stop this minute.
I think a lot of people would agree with you. And let me come to you, Dr. Taofiq Raimi, in our off-site studio. I think what strikes a lot of people in this country is the fact that there doesn't appear to be any coherent strategy or master plan for dealing with insecurity, is there, beyond periodically changing the service chiefs. And when they go to engage the Trump administration on this, the Americans simply aren't interested in the Nigerians waffling on about the challenges. They want to know what the strategy is and what the solutions are, don't they?
Okay, Charles, you are quite on point that Nigerians would like to see a robust plan as to how to combat insecurity in Nigeria by our federal government led by His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But quickly, let me tell the former House of Rep member that even at the Congress sitting in U.S. yesterday, if he watched it, and I think the whole world watched it, they acknowledged that Trump officers acknowledged that Nigeria has sent a high-powered delegation to meet with U.S. government. So it's not low-level people that have been sent there. NSA is there with a couple of other top officers in charge of our security in Nigeria. The president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I believe sooner than later, will have a meeting with President Trump. Not because we have to run to America for our security solutions, but because he is one that believes in collaboration. And if you, I thank Arise Television yesterday that you beamed that, that sitting of the Congress member live. I watched it live, and I believe many watched it. There are 4 things that came out of that conversation. I heard over and over from all the people that presented the report and to the committee. They acknowledge that Nigeria need to do more, which means it's not that the government is not doing something. 2, I heard very many times re-echoed that what the U.S. is trying to do is to support or collaborate with Nigeria government. So they believe that it's not just to come and invade our country.
Well,
so I believe that...
I'm going to interrupt you there. I apologize, Dr. Raimi. We're going to come to that hearing in a minute. I just want to get through the issues around the sort of the direct attempts to make a connection with the Trump administration. Let me come to you, Mazi Nnamdi Irebu. Do you think it is important that the U.S. take some sort of action in Nigeria? If so, what form do you think that ought to take? Whether it is military action, to attack some of these insurgents and attackers in Nigeria, or whether it is to support the Nigerian government to strengthen their hand against those Islamist militants?
I think this is that moment that we should expect the so-called master strategist that they have always given to the president. We expected it now. We expected him to by now reach out to the National Assembly and engage them on behalf of this nation. So that when you are going out to now say you're reaching out to the international community for help and all of that, then it can be understood that the nation is together. It is a shame, really, that 2 years plus of this administration, there are no ambassadors. That's how terrible this government has failed. So when you now say you want to meet with the United States president and all of that, how do you facilitate that? And I think if you ask why probably the president has been dodging the possibility of ensuring that that meeting happens quick and about immediately, well, are we not aware of some of the baggages that he has that comes from America? So he is cautious also. That's why P2B will say that you don't expect a man who came in from the window to start cleaning up the house. This president grabbed power and has not been able to unite the Nigerian people up till now. Like what the political failure of the president, we have experienced is all of this poaching, putting confusion in the camps of the opposition. That in itself, will not help the government succeed. So should the American president come to the aid of Nigeria? By every means possible, yes. But of course, we will not, as citizens of our country, support any invasion of our country without collaboration with our government. It won't be right. No matter how one is not happy with the APC administration, we will not support for any invasion of our country without a proper engagement with our government. This is not a banana republic.
Nevertheless, Honorable Zachary Mohammed, do you think the United States has an obligation to help prevent more killings in this country, especially in what they determine to be genocide? If so, how should they match that against American interests in having a more stable Nigeria? And do you have faith in the Trump administration in that regard?
Well, for me, I think that tying back from what Mazi said, yes, Nigeria is a sovereign nation. Of course, whatever arrangements they will do will be collaboration. And I know from their satellites and sophistication of the sophistry of the equipment they have, they exactly know where these guys are in our forest. So even if it means without physically coming, you deploy technology to blow them off wherever they are. It's a welcome development. I don't think that it has to be kinetic. No, the world has gone beyond that. Some of these missiles that they use, they said they travel between continents. So why not if they will come? I have faith in the fact that if we collaborate, our government should be ready to collaborate with them, because the insurgents and of course the whatever it is has been franchised. Look at what happened to M.A. Brigadier, may God bless his soul, and the rest others. He gave an information of his location. Why? How did that information leaked? That is what we should be interested in as a country. Do you know how much it takes to train an officer of that cadre and those that died with him? It's you can't just make it overnight. There must be an inquiry. How did it happen?
Absolutely.
In the same country by now, we should be getting the reports. And heads to roll. That's how it is. Heads to roll. Indeed. So that it will serve as deterrent to others.
That's a very important point. Yep. Now let's move on from there to that topic that Dr. Raimi was bringing up. this latest spate of attacks follows claims by the U.S. President Donald Trump that Christians are being persecuted in Nigeria, an allegation dismissed by the Nigerian government. Earlier this month, Mr. Trump said he would send troops into Nigeria guns a-blazing if the Trump administration continues to allow the killing of Christians. All that has led to a powerful moment in U.S.-Nigeria relations, with a U.S. congressional panel opening a hearing to investigate Nigeria's worsening insecurity crisis, marked by brutal attacks on civilians, particularly Christians, and the Nigerian government's response to them. The hearing comes after Nigeria was redesignated a country of particular concern for alleged severe religious freedom violations. And let me come to you, since you started taking us on that trajectory, Dr. Raimi. What's your reaction to this U.S. congressional panel investigating Nigeria, and what's your assessment of what you heard so far from that panel?
Okay, I want to put it in context that the issue of killing in Nigeria has been well emotionally partitioned in terms of looking at it from Christian genocide. I feel that before we become either Muslims or Christian or traditional practitioner, we are first human beings. So that's my take, would be that killings have occurred both to Muslims, to Christians, and to other people that do not believe in these two popular faiths. And hence, the designation of Nigeria by the president of the U.S., President Trump, only looking at the Christian genocide, I feel that while that is acknowledged, it should be more holistic. How do we stop killing in Nigeria? So, and the Congress sitting yesterday came to me as very useful. One, they were able to gather information as regards the kind of killing that is going on. And I heard from many of the participants, like I said earlier, many also acknowledge that it is not just the Christians that have been killed in Nigeria, also Muslims are also being killed. Two, I also heard, and it came to me very important, that U.S. is developing a plan, which they said is an holistic plan, which would include plan to assist Nigeria through collaboration with the federal government, through trade, plan to assist Nigeria through security method, plan to assist Nigeria through economic method, plan to assist Nigeria in any other method by the relevant department in America. So I believe that they are developing a plan. I also believe that when this plan is developed, they said they are going to do it in collaboration with Nigerian government. And that is the key word for me, collaboration. And I think the president, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has even equally called for this collaboration before now, not only from the U.S., but from any other country that can support us with intelligence, that can support us with even equipment we need, that can support us even with moral training, as it were. I heard my colleague Dixon of PDP politicizing the issue of killing in Nigeria, or what is going on. Please, let us stop this. You know, today, APC is in government. Maybe in another turn of event, other party will be in government. Why do you always want to demonize what is happening to this administration just because you people are not on the shadow? Let me tell Dixon that even the fire in PDP at the moment is far more to be concentrated upon by them than focusing on what the president has done or he has not done.
I tell you what, Dr. Raimi, you're going to have a chance to really lay into him, because one of the topics we've got coming up is the mess inside the PDP. So hold your horses, mate. Your turn is coming. But let me come to you, Mr. Irebu there. Did it sound to you, listening to that hearing, that the U.S. can help to effectively address Nigeria's security challenges? I mean, I know it sounds like we're going over the same ground, but might it at the very least help push Nigeria's government to better protect its citizens, especially in vulnerable regions like the north, where we're seeing most of these kidnappings and sort of attacks taking place?
Charles, that public hearing by the U.S. Congress, first, when I tuned in, I saw it on telly, I felt ashamed as a Nigerian. I felt hurt that our representatives in the National Assembly couldn't do what the U.S. Congress was doing about our country. I just saw that, indeed, these people don't seem to care. They don't care. Our interest is not on the table. It's their interest. Even when the APC has, through poaching, grabbed everyone and they have majority in the National Assembly, this would have been an opportunity for them to call for such an emergency sitting, special sitting, to discuss that issue. But it came from the foreign land, and our issues were dissected there without emotions or interests and all of that. You could see human beings discussing issues about other human beings. And they were indeed, in fact, one of them was moved to tears, right? And that, for me, simply shows that it appears that our leaders have lost their humanity. That's why we are where we are. Because if not, every day in Nigeria since APC came to power in 2015, not less than 100 people are killed every blessed day for the past about 12 years now that APC has been in government. And there's no end in sight.
The APC has been in government for 10 years, not 12.
Okay, 10 years. Going well. Okay, 10 years. And there's no end in sight. It's unfortunate.
Right.
But can the sitting that held, that very special sitting, yeah, it can help.
Right.
The issues discussed and all of that, they were looking for ways forward to help end this. And this aspect of denial from the government and the APC members that there is no Christian genocide. There is Christian genocide in Nigeria. That's a fact. But it's not that it's only Christians that are being killed. Other Nigerians are being killed. The records are there to show that targeted victims here are mostly Christians. And nobody can dispute that. So I don't know why we're distracting ourselves with facts that are out there as if we're living outside the global community.
Right.
And all
Okay,
of that.
we've got to move on. Zachary Mohammed, briefly, what sort of recommendations would you like to see that congressional panel make? There are concerns, for instance, about Nigeria's military tactics. I mean, should the U.S. hearing recommend reforms or alternative approaches? And of course, those are likely to be recommendations around the protection of groups that the U.S. sees as vulnerable, such as Christians, as well as, for instance, Shiites.
Okay, where I think they can come in is intelligence. Then, of course, they will come in the aspect of infrastructure, security infrastructure. And that is where they should stop for now. Because if it's training, we have got our men trained all over the world. But let them deploy technology, because that's what the world uses now. Drones can do this job beautifully well. Rather than engaging our men, we're losing them in droves. No, we can as well know point where they are. And those areas will be targeted specifically. And of course, when people begin to talk about they don't know where it is, no. What is important is that if you are within their means and living in their means, without being, you will have a thing to do with them. It's either you are part of the supply chain, or you're part of the intelligence, or thereabout. So I think we need to remove emotions from this and secure our country, because that is the only country we have. There must be a country before a second term.
Yeah.
Indeed. And gentlemen, please stay with us. We've got, it's really good talking with you. You're watching Arise Prime Time, plenty more still ahead as we continue our assessment of the week that was. Stay with us. Welcome back to Arise Prime Time, where we offer perspectives on the news and talking points of the day. I'm Charles Anyegolu. Now, this was also a week in which the trial of Nnamdi Kanu, the enigmatic leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, or IPOB, reached its sensational conclusion. And in the end, he was convicted of terrorism-related offenses and sentenced to life in prison. The judge, James Omotosha, declared that the prosecution had successfully established Kanu's culpability in perpetuating a campaign of violence and intimidation. Mr. Kanu's lawyers vowed to appeal, calling it a travesty of justice. It's a sentence that raises red flags. Is silencing dissenting voices truly justice, or just a recipe for deeper divisions? And with me, as we continue our assessment of the week that was, the public affairs analyst, Mazi Nnamdi Dixon Irebu, who is both a member of the People's Democratic Party and an obedience, the development expert and business and economic analyst, Dr. Taufeeq Rahimi, who's a member of the ruling APC party, and the public affairs analyst, Zachary Mohammed, who was a member of the House of Representatives in the 7th and 8th Assemblies. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for staying with us. And let me come to you, Dr. Rahimi, and let me ask you that question that we posed in the intro. Is silencing dissenting voices truly justice, or just a recipe for deeper division?
None of the two. I don't think dissent voices are being silenced. I am not a lawyer, and I'm not part of the case involving Nnamdi Kanu of the proscribed IPOB. IPOB as a leader, I feel that we should believe and have trust in this country on our institutions. The judiciary, the federal government took its case to the judiciary. The judiciary, through the court of first instance, has proclaimed or pronounced its judgment. And the judgment is not, at least as of now, in favor of Nnamdi Kanu. He has been sentenced to life imprisonment. I was on this your program a few weeks back, and I told you that the case is legal as of now. But I also suggested that there could be political resolution. As at that time, he hasn't been judged by the Federal High Court. There are two other courts that he can appeal to, the Court of Appeal, and from there, he can also escalate if he's still not in his favor to the Supreme Court. But this is just legal process, which is allowed in our constitution and as a country that is not banana republic. However, I believe that the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, can pardon anyone if there are merits to it. I believe the Southeast leaders, like I suggested the last time to you, Charles, if you remember, that they can come together genuinely. And the conflict also should demonstrate remossiveness because we need the peace across Nigeria. Okay. That is my position on this.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. And let me come to you, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
He's my brother. So.
Mazi Nnamdi Irebu. What is the path to lasting peace in such circumstances?
Charles, the trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a trial against the Igbo people in Nigeria. It's not about Nnamdi Kanu. The civil war is not over. That's the honest truth. Nigeria is still, by every opportunity available, doing everything possible to subdue, to make the Igbo man in Nigeria more like a second-class citizen. And this happens in different parts of Nigeria. So it's unfortunate. We thought that this would have been a wonderful chance for the Nigerian state, the elites, because most times when we say this, most people will paint it like, oh, it's against the ordinary Nigerians. No, the people who have indeed ganged up against the section from the southeastern Nigerians from the southeastern Nigeria are mostly the elites who, whatever squabble they have with the Igbo man. But that trial, we thought it would have been an opportunity for the Nigerian government to rejig the system and indeed bring back everyone together. That after the Civil War, it's quite shameful that we are pretentious about it, that there were about 3.5 million people slaughtered during that Civil War. It's shameful that up till now, the Nigerian system is pretentious about it and expects us to keep quiet. There's no family in the southeast, in Igbo land, that didn't have one life, one human being or the other that they lost. So to think that the incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu will kill that very ideology and all of that, it's a waste of time. It's unfortunate that here we are. Examples are there that terrorists, confirmed terrorists, people who have maimed, who have done everything evil against the Nigerian people, including killing soldiers, are said to be captured, rehabilitated with taxpayers' resources, and put back in the society. But you now say you're jailing a man for saying, because you have treated my people terribly as it is, still going on in Nigeria, he now says, we want out. And he starts to, instigate everybody to say, let's not go on with this system because the system doesn't want us. You're jailing him for it for terrorism. Is there any video, any clip anywhere where you will see that Nnamdi Kanu smacked any human being? All the processes that before the proscription, because my brother referred to it, the proscribed IPOB. Proscribed by who? At that Congress sitting that he's excited about, a congressman spoke about it and indeed affirmed that there seemed to be selective application of the laws of our country. When it comes to the Igbo man, we come out all harsh against them. And that is what has applied. But when it comes to other people, we just treat it like, have we not had secession calls from Southwest? Was Igbo not here? Have we had secession call from the North? And all of that. People even putting their flag and all of that. You capture them and rehabilitate them and put that back in the society. It's shameful that we got to that level. Remember also, Charles.
Yeah, we really must move on.
Let me drop this.
Yeah,
remember
very
also,
quickly, please.
Yes, that was before now. There was a case of freeing him by the Federal High Court before this very one that came. Government did not look at that. Right. Okay. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Zachary Mohammed, where do things go from here? Can the government mitigate things?
I know for a fact that the president that we do have, he will do something. I'm not a spokesperson, but I know he will do something because of the way the trajectory of the case. I'm not a lawyer. And of course, the legalities and all has ended in the courtroom. But I know for sure that the president will want to use it for 2027 politics. And that what he will do is to say that he's giving him under the prerogative of mercy, to say that Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, his incarceration has been commuted to, he's been released or something. I know it will happen so that in 2027 it will be his gaze. Because if you look at the patterns of the way Mr. President does these things, definitely you will say, I told you this, mark to this date. I know that he won't serve his time around with this administration. They'll find a backdoor way of sorting it out. Coming to his individual, I will see it rather differently. I think Kanu needs some help because you could see a man who is depressed, actually. I don't think he has access to his family and his loved ones. They need to do that because you could see, I'm a criminologist, his behavioral pattern is reflecting those things, deprivation. So something has to be done about that so that he gets his sanity, and because what is important, even when you release him, he has a life to live.
Right. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Of course, this was also a week in which the main opposition, PDP, headed for a showdown with rival factions storming its headquarters in Abuja, forcing the police to tear gas the crowds. It follows the party's contested national convention in Ibadan last weekend, which ended up expelling the Minister of Abuja, Nyesom Wike, and several other prominent members. Mr. Wike then convened his own splinter group and in turn dismissed leaders of the other faction, including Governors Bala Mohammed and Sheyi Makinde. So after the raging, very public intensity of this latest crisis, is the PDP now tottering on the precipice of implosion? And let me come to you, Dr. Taufeeq Raimi, because I'm sure you're sharpening your knife there in the off-site studio. The PDP teetering on the brink, in your assessment?
Charles, a few months back, you asked me this same question when there was the question of Nigeria, APC turning Nigeria into one-party state. I said that the problem is that the opposition party, particularly PDP and Labour Party, were the ones that were not putting their house in order. I want to tell you, I want to remind you that that time, I also told you 7 things that PDP is supposed to be doing. I told you, I said they should undertake genuine reconciliation if their house must be built. They didn't do so. I said they should organize congresses across the 36 states of the Federation and FCT. They didn't complete it. I told you that they should also find a way to solving their internal problem without calling APC. If a wall does not crack, lizard will not enter. There is enough fire in the house of PDP, not just before now. PDP is not only in intensive care, but I think maybe it's on the way to mortuary. However, we want far opposition. APC is not afraid of opposition because we want competition so that our victory by 2027 will not only be assessed to be right, it will be seen that we actually contested well. Our president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we are doing all that is possible, including good governance, which we will continue to intensify. We are also doing inclusive governance. People like us will soon join our government in terms of active, appointment. And we will continue to do our best.
Are you?
I'm not applying that. What is wrong if I apply for a job? Charles,
you haven't been compensated yet.
Yeah.
Well,
I hope for your sake that you get compensated.
Thank you.
We could have you turning the tables here very soon. But let me move on, because we've literally got 4 minutes. I'm very sorry to interrupt you.
Thank you.
Mazi Irebu, please keep your answer short, because we haven't got that much time. What do you make of what happened at the PDP's headquarters earlier in the week, and the fact that things degenerated to that level of clashes and tear gas being fired by the police? You're a member of the PDP, and we saw you on camera, quite visible, while all that was taking place.
I was even attacked at that very event you're referring to. Before that very Monday that our secretariat was invaded, aided by the Nigerian police, because we had our convention in Ibadan, and of course did everything that we could to put our party back on track by ensuring that these more like fifth columnists in our midst are axed out. And Nyesom Wike has become a problem both to the nation and to the democracy of our country. Survival of democracy in our country today, he is directly involved, being used as a tool by the president, because the president cannot said to be unaware of what is happening or what Nyesom Wike is doing. So for us, it's not particularly Nyesom Wike now. Tinubu is intentionally destabilizing the PDP, but we, the people in the PDP, have said no to it. We have taken our party back. We had our convention, and every other thing is being put together to ensure that we, alongside other political parties, can form the real coalition with the Nigerian people so that we can oust these ruiners of our country, because APC has ruined everything about our country. We, the PDP, left a $555 billion US economy in 2015. They've bungled it. They've wrecked it. The security situation we're faced with today, it's terrible, and there's no plan whatsoever. Right. The issue of subsidy and all of that, my brother was talking about how they have done well with the economy and all that. How? Is your life better today than it was while PDP was in power? No. They are now trying to teach us how to run political party, how to run our affairs. My brother, fix your home. Immediately in 2027, by the time PDP sacks APC, APC will go extinct. They cannot survive what the PDP has survived.
Well, that's a very optimistic projection.
Of course, we will come back in 2027.
Given the way things are. But let me come to you for a final word, Honorable Zachary Mohammed, as the PDP hurtles, and it's fair to say that it is hurtling towards the abyss. One cannot help but wonder, will it emerge from this chaos, reborn, rejuvenated, or will it succumb to the weight of its own internal contradictions? What's your assessment?
For me, if the powers that be wanted to, because of course PDP will be groaning under court cases, it will be groaning under infighting, which of course has been there. I used to be a member of the PDP. I am of the ADC now. We have seen this happen, and that's exactly why we decided to take our call to say, look, if we must play politics, let's play it elsewhere. Because the minister of the FCT too is medicine, very, very medicine. And of course, the Nigerian police have to reassess their position in the way they do things.
Right.
They need to reassess their position because they are called Nigeria police. They are not the police of any political party or any interest. So they should be neutral, and the courts too should be neutral. They should try as much as possible to hand down
right.
Very, very, very
Okay.
impartial, so that no democracy thrives without a viral opposition.
Indeed.
And it's necessary. If that happened in 2014, for instance.
No, we don't have time.
If
to go
PDP
into
didn't allow APC to
right.
come in, we wouldn't have had an APC.
Okay.
So they should allow others grow too.
Indeed.
By
On
the
that
way,
note,
coming back to
in
PDP.
that
No, I'm
note,
not
I
coming.
want to
You're not
thank
coming.
you
I'm not
very
coming.
much indeed,
I'm through.
gentlemen. Dixon Zachary Mohammed, who was a member of the House of Representatives, Dixon Irebu, who is both a member of the PDP and an obedient, and Dr. Taufik Raimi, who's a member of the ruling party, APC. Thank you very much indeed. That's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again next week. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, bye-bye, and thank you for watching.